Welcome into the Buffalo Down podcast, a playoff edition. Look at this. We're at the wild card. It's come
Postseason.
faster than any of us could have imagined.
Mm-hmm.
It's already here. I'm Joe Cali. He's Justin Siejak. We're going to break down Bills Jags, preview it for you, give you our thoughts and where we stand on this, because I feel like it's a kind of a tough sell in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we just don't. I'm kind of lost in the sauce, but we'll get to that in a few minutes here. I do want to. We talked about our Highmark memories last week, and the Bills did beat the Jets with the B team the other day, so we do have to just make mention of that really quick. What did you think of the presentation and the iris and all of that? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like it couldn't have been any better against a game that really truly meant nothing. You could just kind of appreciate the stadium, right? Like, I feel like we
Yeah.
kind of landed on that.
Yeah. I thought they knocked it out of the park, especially with the end of the game presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Red helmets looked absolutely incredible. I mean, I'd
Oh yeah.
argue that they should be here to stay. But yeah, I mean, the Goo Dolls, everything from, Trey White and Reed Ferguson reacting to the video, guys that have been here for, a long time, the longest tenured Bills, and they're getting emotional. It's like, yeah, this means something to these guys. It's
Yeah.
not just the game of football, it's the city too. And that's part of the community that the Bills Mafia has kind of created with the Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, you're seeing all like the random people on social media now being like, I'm an empath and I'm
Yeah.
watching all these videos of Iris and these Bills fans at Highmark Stadium and I just can't stop crying. I mean, Mad Dog, did you see that on First Take? He had an insane rant about why was Steve Tasker in the broadcast booth? Your stadium's a dump, all this stuff. He called it, it's not the
Whoa.
polo ground. Yeah, well, I'll have to send that to you after the
Yeah.
fact, but we had to address that at work the other day because that came across and we were like, whoa, oh my God. Like he took it so personally.
Talk about
But
someone who's out of touch. Like, what are we talking about?
right. Exactly. Yeah. You'll find it astonishing. If you haven't seen it out there and you're watching this, find it. It's from First Take on Monday, reacting to that. He said it's not the polo ground, all this stuff. Polo ground closed in like the 1800s. So I don't know what he's
Yeah.
talking about, but the Highmark Stadium tenure most likely done. There are still avenues in play. We're going to get to that. But first, Bills, Jaguars, a rematch of the 2017 wild card, the drought breaker for the Buffalo Bills. Tyrod Taylor gets knocked out. Nate Peterman throws an interception to lose the game, right? At the end. At that point, it wasn't nothing was gonna save the Bills. That game was over. So it's gonna be an interesting game. It's in Jacksonville, of course. I don't know. How do you feel, Justin? I'm kind of in limbo here, as I mentioned
Yeah,
at the start.
I think in limbo is the perfect way to describe it because we were talking about it before we went live. The AFC is just such a week to week conference this year. It's like you don't know who's going to show up,
Mm-hmm.
on the right side of the bed or the wrong side of the bed. I mean, that's been the tale of the Bills story all of 2025, 2026. Some games they look dominant. They're beating the Chiefs. They're beating, competitive teams, the Patriots, and then they drop one of the Dolphins and the Falcons. And it's just like, what's going on here? This is the same team. We're fielding the same team here, minus some injuries. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to expect. I don't think Jacksonville is necessarily an intimidating place to play for Buffalo. Plus, you have the playoff experience with Josh Allen, who, again, we touched on last week, one of the
Mm-hmm.
all-time playoff risers at quarterback. So whenever you
Right.
have that guy back there, it's kind of like, yeah, there's a possibility to go do this thing, despite Jacksonville being one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now.
Yeah, and hottest team, they're on an 8-game win streak. Sounds a little familiar, does it not, to a New England Patriots team you played coming off of their bye week, right? They were on a hot streak. The Bills do have a habit of kind of rolling into teams that are hot and being able to win. And I guess the national points, right? And there's a couple, not the pressure one, because everybody's talking about if not now, when? When will the Bills do it? Josh Allen, this is McDermott's year. If he doesn't get it done, they're going to can him, all this stuff, right? So, like, there's that pressure. And then there's also, I don't know, like, you hear some of these pundits talking about it, and they give you all these reasons how the Bills can win, but then they don't feel confident enough to pick the Bills, so they just pick the Jaguars because they're the
Right.
hot team. Like, I don't know if anybody knows what to think. In the lines, the betting lines, this went from the Bills were minus 112, the Jags were minus 108, Bills are 1.5-point favorites on the road. The points are still there, I believe,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. The points are still in the Bills' favored, but the money line now it's a pick 'em. They're minus 108 each. So that transitioned a little bit from where that started. So I'm intrigued to see where it ends up for game time, but I don't know. I want to be confident in this Bills team because Denver last year, all their talk was about how they could stop the run, right?
Yep.
And James Cook the Bills ran for like 200 yards on him, right? Like in the wild card game.
It's
Like
kind
they
of the
were able
same
to run on them.
conversation here.
It's kind of a parallel game, right? And Liam Cohen, I really like as a head coach, even with this Duval thing that he did. Like he has really built something there, and he came in as kind of a question mark. Like, what experience did this guy have to become a head coach? None. Like he had 1 year at Tampa Bay, pretty much, and look at him now. So he was able to build a culture there. Trevor Lawrence is playing like how he was kind of supposed to be for a while now. But again, like you said, playoff experience could very much matter here. I'm not a big resume guy, regular season resume going into the playoffs because I don't think it means anything, right?
Sure.
Because if you look on paper, some of the teams that are not in the playoffs do have a better team than teams that are in, right? And
sure. Yeah.
like,
I mean, Baltimore is better than Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Miss me with the regular season resume. I think it all resets in the playoffs. What do you think about that? Do you hold stock in, I guess, regular season performance like heavily, like some people do?
Sometimes if you're balling, you're balling. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But you're right. The playoffs are just a different beast. It's a different time. It's a different kind of intensity. It's a different kind of atmosphere. Everyone, whether you're, people. Let's bring it down to ground zero for a second. NFL players are humans. Okay, so like everyone can have a bad week. Anyone can come into the game not feeling their best. Whatever. Sometimes maybe take a few plays off here and there. It's the regular season. Whatever. Postseason, everyone's going 100%. You want to get a ring. You made it to the dance. You may as well go all in.
Yeah.
And it's just different. People have different mentalities. Guys are going all out. Veterans tend to step up. And veterans that maybe don't have as big as an impact in the regular season tend to step up. So it's interesting. It's a completely different conversation. I definitely agree with you with that. But to that same note, we did see Trevor Lawrence bring back the 28-3 game against the Chargers or whatever it was, 29-3 a few years back. So it's not like he doesn't have a win under his belt. He does. But Josh Allen has, I think, over 10 playoff wins at this point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like apples oranges.
He's only lost one wild card game. He's like 7-1 in wild card games. So it's not easy to knock the Bills with Josh Allen out early in the playoffs, right? And that was the sophomore season for him, that Houston game that went awry, and he had it in the bag for a while.
Yeah.
So I have nothing but confidence in the Bills, and I get to the point where the game's going to start, and I'm going to be like, oh, I don't think they're losing this game. Like I think that's where I'm going to end up. And I won't think they're losing until they lose, because this team, you just never know. They could be down like the Patriots, 21-0, come back. Like the defense has also been playing so well, and I think that's the point I want to hammer home the most. The offense, sure, you need them to score, and we saw that in Philadelphia. They couldn't. But that defense, in its tattered state that it is, even without Maxwell Harrison, Trey White's been playing really well this year.
Yep, yes.
Dane Jackson's fine. He's serviceable if you need him, if need be. Christian Benford's been playing at a really high level. You have your safeties still. Jordan Poyer practicing. Matt Milano practiced in full. Like, Prater is practicing in full, too. So, like, things are coming together on defense and special teams where I think that's going to be a huge help. And Trevor Lawrence has been sacked 41 times this season. Josh Allen's been sacked 40.
Yep.
So your defensive front, they've been able to hit home on Sanders. You got May a couple times, right? Not nearly as much. But, like, Jalen Hurts had some trouble back there. You've been able to stop the run. ETN's not really an explosive runner. So, like, you're not really worried about him like these other running backs you've played against. I don't know. I don't know if this is false confidence I'm just talking myself into. I don't know. What do you feel?
I think the Bills, it's funny because both sides kind of mash up well for each of them, right? Yeah. So, like, the Bills' rushing attack is, probably the best in the entire NFL. James Cook leads the league in rushing yards. He's the rushing champ this year. But then you have Jacksonville's stout run defense, and it's legit. There's real legitimacy behind this Jacksonville run defense. But the thing about it is, on the flip side, Jacksonville is kind of a one-dimensional offense through the air. Their run game has been pretty bad. I think they're averaging under 4 yards a carry, if I'm not mistaken. So you take the Bills' pass defense, who's been elite the second half of the regular season, kind of matched up against this Jaguars passing attack with, let's take a look at their weapons. Brian Thomas Jr. had an incredible year last year. I don't know what happened this year. Just kind of fell off the face of the earth, to be kind of honest with you.
Yeah, I think he was dealing with a little bit of an injury at some point, too.
Brenton Strange, the tight end, is coming into his own after being drafted just a few years ago. You don't have Travis Hunter, so you don't have to deal with Travis Hunter. But Parker Washington is kind of, evolving into the solid weapon for Trevor Lawrence. They're decent weapons, but they're not world beaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Bills have the secondary to match up with that. And I kind of want to, play devil's advocate for a second here. Maxwell Harrison going down sucks. But wouldn't you almost rather have the veteran who's been in the playoffs over the rookie that has no playoff experience? That's just kind of my take.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I hate to see Max Harrison get injured, but I think you're absolutely right. And Trey White, especially the way he's playing this season, I think is going to be just fine. And what this is where we're going to get into coaching, but I want to hone in on McDermott here, especially with the defense we're talking about. This is where he does his best in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
The Ravens team last year in the divisional round, that should not have gone the way it did. The Ravens, theoretically, with the team they had, should have stomped the Bills last season. What did McDermott do? He loaded the front. He kept it short. He sold out against the run, sold out against Derrick Henry. He made them make their own mistakes, and what did they do? They did that.
Yep.
I think you're going to see that a lot with Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence likes to throw down the field. You know what? We're not going to let him do that. We're going to keep it short. And then Trevor Lawrence is going to get that itch, kind of how Allen gets from time to time. He's going to uncork one, and there's a chance for a turnover, right? Like, this is going
Trevor
to
Lawrence
be
is turnover
chess. Yeah, he is.
Like to the point he did have this 40 touchdown season, but let's not act like he's the perfect player. He has turned the ball over, not like an insane amount to where it's notable, but this has been his career. It's plagued him his entire career. He will turn the ball over. It's at points where it's just kind of like, what are you doing? So
yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, I think I like our coach. I like the matchup. I like the experience. I like Sean McDermott in this game. I think he's going to be the difference maker, right? And truthfully, Joe Brady getting a head coaching interview with the Ravens.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to prove. Pressure's on Josh Allen. Pressure's on Sean McDermott. Pressure's on Joe Brady. Because I don't think he's a Buffalo Bill coordinator next year, whether he gets a job or not. I think they move on from him. Mm-hmm. So he's got to kind of put a resume together like, hey, I can really coach one up in the playoffs kind of a deal. Or, I mean, I'm surprised he's even getting interviews with the season the Bills have had on offense. So, I don't know.
Let's stay on Joe Brady for a second. I want to ask you a question. Going into this game, knowing what you know, knowing that the Jaguars have yet to allow more than 75 yards rushing in a game to any running back, what do you think Joe Brady's game plan, the ideal game plan to win this game, should look like going into this game?
Ooh, the game plan. Well, okay. I know you're it's going to be tough. Luckily, Kincaid's getting healthy, right? He's a limited participant, but that's just where he's going to live, I think, for the majority of the postseason here. Dawson Knox has been a really big pass catcher for you. Brandon Cooks kind of showed he can go down the field a little bit.
Yep.
And you also, the one I'm really worried about is Ty Johnson, I think. That's a pass-catching running back like that. That's where I'm a little concerned about him being injured. McDermott did say, though, that he's not officially ruled out yet, so they're waiting to more towards game time to make a designation there. But I think the game plan's got to be. I don't think it's got to be everybody eats. I think that game plan would get you destroyed, blown up every single way. Because Josh Hines Allen, because we have to say that now, he changed it to not be in the shadow. I think he's going to be trying to wreck your game, right?
Trayvon Walker too.
Trayvon Walker, like they have a solid defense that Joe Brady's going to have to scheme against.
They got some players.
I like the idea of an X receiver, whether that be Dalton Kincaid. I think that's your game. I think throwing to your tight end is your game, right?
Yep.
Whether that be down the field, whether that be a slant route, right? Whether that be any short little dump off. I just don't want to see 3rd and 15 roll around in a bubble screen to Khalil Shakir. Like, we can't. That can't happen. And I get it. You might be thinking you're going to go for it on 4th down, shorten it up. Just go for the first down at that point.
Right.
Like, be aggressive, unrelenting. And I think that's, I guess, I mean, as much of a game plan as I can give, because there's like 3 people I trust on this offense to really do anything. Because Khalil Shakir's been written out of the script in his entirety this season. So
looking like no Josh Palmer potentially too.
Yeah, but honestly, what's he been really giving you?
Nothing.
Like, that's what I like. It's so up and down just with this receiver room, and I can't wait for the season to be over, whether that be with a Super Bowl win or not, to really be able to get into what can they do? Like, what are we doing to fix this? Because this team has Super Bowl potential at every other position than the receiver room. Like that's where we're at this point.
We talked about that a few episodes ago. If you don't take
Yeah.
a swing on a receiver, whether it's in the draft or trade or whatever, like, what
You
are we
have
doing?
Yeah.
You're looking. I don't know.
You have to. But yeah, I guess if that makes sense, my game plan is just don't do everybody eats like you've attempted, and don't keep it just short, because the Bills are just a check down offense. And I get it. Like, it's a different kind of pivot. But Brady has shown he can just pull things out of nowhere, like those hook and ladders, right?
Yeah.
Granted, they're like not really, when they do those, they don't win games because they're just trying to win them at the last minute. But throw a couple of those in there. Like, creativity and not being predictable, I think, is the biggest thing, because as soon as you're predictable, they're just going to snuff you out, and that's what teams have done to them all season. What do you think? Like, what kind of game plan are you looking for? Who do you think is going to be their biggest guy?
I expect them to lean on Dalton Kincaid, like you said. I mean, now that he's finally healthy, the stats back it up. I mean, Josh Allen was the most accurate quarterback throwing to his tight end all year long from a quarterback to tight end perspective when Dalton Kincaid was on the field. And we talked about it a few weeks back. When Dalton Kincaid is not on the field, Josh Allen tends to play Aaron. He tends to turn the ball over. So I think now that he's back in the fold, assuming that he can like go and they're not just forcing him to play, I think you've got to funnel the offense through him and Dawson Knox. That's what's worked for you the past 5 weeks. And then sprinkle in a little Brandon Cooks here, a little Khalil Shakir on even if it's just a crossing route. Just get the ball in his hands, not behind the line of scrimmage. That's been telegraphed every week for the past 10 games. Like, just try it over the field or something. Tyrell Shavers gave you some juice with a crazy catch a few weeks back. Maybe you get him involved a little bit. But I think the offensive game plan, despite the rushing numbers, I think they're going to lean on James. I think Josh moves around a lot, maybe some designed runs here and there.
And his foot looks okay now. Like, he seems pretty healthy.
But sounds better. It sounds like it's maybe the best it's been in weeks. So I think it does run through Kincaid and Knox. I think you're going to see a lot of Allen and Cook on the ground. I think it's kind of going to be the same recipe for the quality offensive games that the Bills have had this season.
I'll tell you what game I think they should mimic. The Bengals game. I think that's your game plan.
Yeah,
I genuinely do. They're similar, and the Bengals have more firepower, and they had a healthy Burrow at that point, who played really well in that game. Like, you have a Burrow-esque passer who's not going to run away from you, but he can scramble a little bit. Don't get me wrong, and you're going to be able to make him make mistakes that Joe Burrow's not going to make. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've got a Bengals-ish game plan here, but maybe with a couple more outs than you had with Cincinnati. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. I watched that game, and I'm like, mimic that. Because it's similar, right? They have a couple big defensive players, but they're not phenomenal at either offense or defense. They're just like the Houston Texans are all defense.
Yeah.
No offense. Like, CJ Stroud's run them into the ground. The Broncos, all defense. Their offense is hit or miss. The Patriots, a lot of offense. Their defense is okay.
Yeah, the pass rush isn't good.
They score. Like, that's what the Patriots do. The Bills, I mean, what do we call them at this point? Like, they could be an offensive team that just scores, or they could be that defensive team that holds you to 18 points, right? Whatever. This Jaguars team is probably the only team in the conference you can be like, okay, they're average at both, but not phenomenal at either.
Right.
And I think you can take advantage of that. That's why I'm not entirely scared. I think they got and you could say that, you know, how many teams have they beaten with a record over 500? But you could also look at the Bills' schedule and say that, because the Ravens don't have those teams, the Chiefs, like all these big games that normally would be big games aren't this year. So it doesn't, like week 1 against Baltimore, 41-40, that means nothing because they didn't make the playoffs. Like, you can't call that a big win. Like, this would probably be their best win in the season if they were able to do it.
Yeah, I think so. 100% easily.
So is there anything, I guess, before we kind of get into like prediction territory here, is there anything you're like mortified about? Like, Ty Johnson might be the only thing for me that I'm like, okay, I really don't like this if he's not in, because I think he adds a whole nother level to your offense. But like, it's not a dire situation because you have other players who are capable.
Yeah.
Ray Davis has been having a really good year. Is there anything screaming at you, like even just matchup wise? Like, are you not liking something?
Yeah, kind of staying on matchups, like maybe just more so personal performances. Let's say like the X factor.
Yeah.
I think the X factor on the Bills defense is Greg Rousseau. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or Joey Bosa, one or the other. Someone's got to cause havoc. The playoffs is all about pass rush. I'm telling you, pass rush will always trump the secondary in the playoffs. It's just proven to be historically true.
Yeah.
The Bills are going to need a game record to show up. Ed Oliver's not ready to go. He's not ready to come back. So you're going to lean on Bosa and Rousseau to just create some pressure. Maybe throw some exotic blitzes at Trevor Lawrence. I don't know, but it needs to be difficult. You can't sit back in the pocket all day. It's not like the Jaguars have an elite offensive line. They've got several solid players like Luke Forkner and a few other guys on that offensive line, but they're not elite by any means.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Greg Rousseau and I'm looking at Joey Bosa, and I'm like, guys, if there was a game for you to turn it on, it's this one. We saw Greg Rousseau had a solid game down the stretch where he had 2 sacks, a couple quarterback hits. You need that Greg Rousseau this Sunday. That's what scares me. If those guys go ghost, it could be a completely different game.
Yeah, and I'll add to the defensive point. The edge rushers, you're making a totally valid point. One thing that concerns me a little bit is how much you're leaning on 2 rookie pass rushers in Deion Walker and TJ Sanders. Like, I think they're capable. I think they've shown flashes of it, but in the big moments, you're really leaning on young guys, right? Because Daquan Jones is on the report. Like you're banged up. Ed Oliver probably could have come back, but then he had the meniscus issue too. So he's
you know what? I'm willing to bet that Matt Judon will be out there on a number of third downs.
Yeah. And I really liked that pickup when they did it. I know he wasn't great in Miami, but look at the state of that team. So kind of around him. But I don't know. I don't want to call it blind optimism or blind confidence in any way, but I think the Bills do win this game because of their past and what they match up wise. Like if we're okay to move in predictions here, anything else you want to mention before we do?
Nope, let's do it.
So I do think they're able to get the job done. The only thing I worry about the Jags is Cam Little. He's in field goal range from the opposing 40-yard line, pretty much.
He's nuts,
every shot they show of him celebrating, you see the end zone and the pylon, like from their own side of the field. Like what? Like that's where I think they're going to be able to stay in it big, even if you're stopping them. Because this guy can drive it 68 yards and make it, like without question. And it's not going to be terrible conditions either. Like it's going to be a good day for him to be able to do that. So
it's
that
nuts
concerns
that you can
me
just
to keep it close.
Barely make it past midfield, and you've got a potential to make 3 points. Like that's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. But I think the Jaguars fall to the Bills, and I do think it's a close one. I gotta say, I could be like a 38-35 kind of a thing because I really think they're gonna hang in it with special teams, even if the Bills are stopping them. So Bills are going to just have to score. But what do you think? I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I don't know. I think the defense will be fine, but towards the end of the game, it's just going to be exhaustion, and it's just going to be who scores last.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you got to take into account. Like you kind of just touched on exhaustion. Like the Jaguars have played in this 80-degree weather all season long. How can the Bills, I don't want to throw any strays, but the strength and conditioning staff has not been great this year. Like the Bills have had a lot of
strays. That's a pretty direct shot, and validly so.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been so many soft tissue injuries where guys just aren't whatever it is, not hydrated well, not stretched well. Guys are going down left and right in hot weather, so you kind of do have to take that into account. I think I'm with you though. I think the Bills can take this one. I think for me, it's literally as simple as we have 17, and he's just like. He's a Hall of Famer. He's his playoff resume is bonkers. It's one of the best I've ever seen, despite him not having a ring yet. And that's why I feel confident that he will get it done at some point because he just turns into this new level of athlete, new level of monster in the postseason. And I think McDermott is aware of that. I think Joe Brady's aware of that. I think they're going to lean into him, assuming that he's fully healthy. I think Buffalo puts up a 30 ball. I think Buffalo gets give me 35-21.
I like it. A little more defense in yours. I think that's truthfully, I would hope it goes that way. I'm accounting for the Bills defense kind of just spiraling at the end in like the last 5 minutes. And it's just,
I believe in what I've seen from the past few weeks from this secondary. They're no joke.
Right. No, I agree with you. This is going to be a fun one to watch either way, I think. Hoping so. I mean, it could not be, but Another game to watch before we just wrap up. Quick mention of it: Patriots Chargers.
Yep.
That's gonna be a big one. New England, I think, could fall to the Chargers. I know the Chargers don't have pass protection without Joe Alt, and they're just battered in general. There's a new right tackle every other week with them. But
Bobby Hart, Bills legend.
Bobby Hart. A lot of Bills legends on the offensive line doing things this year. You've got Cody Ford catching a pass on the outside and running down the field, like crazy stuff. So I don't know. I think my brother's a big Chargers fan because, as we all know, the Bills were not great when we were growing up. So I went with the crest and he did not. So he's a big Justin Herbert guy. I think they're scrappy enough to really rock New England a little bit. And New England doesn't really have a pass rush, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So you might be able to get away with some lackluster pass protection. McConkey gets open. You have Omari and Hampton. You have some skilled players still. Keenan Allen, a seasoned veteran in the playoffs.
Rodney Gadsden, Syracuse alone.
Yes, and he's been good. He's had a couple like slower games for sure, but he's been good for the most part for them, more than serviceable.
I think what's going on under the water here is Justin Herbert was legitimately incredible this year.
Oh yeah, he was.
Despite his circumstances with the offensive line, man, he was special this year. He made it happen. There's a reason their record is what it is. I think, what are they, like 13-4, 12-5, something like that. That's no joke. There's nothing to scoff about that. And they've lost key players all over the field on offense and defense. I mean, Khalil Mack goes down. As you mentioned, Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater goes down before the year even starts. Mekhi Becton has not been a good free agent pickup for them. Andre James is not a good center. Like we said, the offensive line does struggle. Omarion Hampton is banged up. He may not even play. But they also have Kamani Vidal, who's put together some good weeks for the Chargers. Yeah. So I think it's a potential to be a shootout. I remember the Chargers played the Patriots in the postseason. Maybe it was like 2017, I want to say, and they gave them a fight. Yeah. But it's tough. I mean, that's a tough place to play. Foxborough isn't easy. It's cold. The fan base is loud. But I don't know. I just believe in Justin Herbert. So I do think there's a fighting chance that they can get it done.
I think their coach, Harbaugh, too, is good. So I think, not the one that got fired, the other one. So I think he's got a good head on his shoulders and got a good connection with the guys in the locker room. So could be able to get it done. It'll be exciting to see what happens. The Bills then, if that happens, would have an avenue to host another playoff game in Highmark, but that would be through the Chargers beating the Broncos and you going into Houston and undoing the result that happened in the regular season. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening here. It's exciting times. The playoffs are starting. Wild card weekend underway starting tomorrow. So we'll have a reaction episode after all this wraps up this weekend and preview the divisional round for next week. So Justin, thanks for the time. We've got it. This is an exciting weekend. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know about you. It's that time of year. And the hockey team's doing well again around here. So vibes are up in Buffalo right now.
NHL draft coming to Buffalo.
NHL draft coming to Buffalo. Look at this. Look at this. So hopefully the vibes stay up because things can come crashing down faster than, whatever. And if the Bills lose.
The Bills lose, all of Western New York is going to be sad. Like this, you know what it is. Like there's a noticeable difference, whether it's your workplace or wherever you like to go to socialize. Like people are genuinely like different people when the Bills lose. Like it just is what it is.
Yeah, we're not ready for the offseason yet, so don't let it happen, Buffalo. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Buffalo Down Podcast. I'm Joe Cali. He's Justin Siejak. We'll talk to you next week. Go Bills.
Go Bills.